Okay.
Now I know where you're going.
Did they sell them?
No, they'll let you borrow one.
Oh, really? Sorry.
So we'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Town Council regular meeting, Wednesday, October 16th, 2019. And if we could,
I'll stand for pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
so I'd like to thank everybody for being here. We've got a nice big crowd here tonight. Let's do a roll call.
Mike McLaughlin here.
Debbie Top here.
Marty Lisenby here.
Paul Edwardson here. Andy Bass present.
And Mayor's Town update. I don't have too much to share tonight, so I think I'll just skip out for right now. I just left a 2-hour meeting and my head's still there instead of here. Anyway, I think we'll move on to item number 1. If I think of something later, I'll share it with you, but for right now, let's just skip that one. Discussion and action, approval of recommendation of the Planning Commission on Town Code 10.26.010 outdoor lighting ordinance. 02/19/13. I guess was that the old ordinance?
No, that's the new one.
The new
If
one.
you approve
Yeah.
it, that will be the new ordinance.
That would be the new ordinance number. That's a weird number, 0. Oh, that's just the.
It's an O.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, we've always, just to put a little dialogue to this, for anyone that may have missed any page in here at all. We've always thought of ourselves as a dark sky community, and through one enforcement action on a piece of property, we discovered that it's not very dark after all. And the requirements don't really require shielding up to a massive amount of light coming out. And so we looked at what else could be done, if anything, to be a dark sky community. And the dark sky, there is a, what do we call it, a non-profit, dark sky. It's like darkskies.org or something, and that's what they are, is dark sky community. They promote them. They have an ordinance on their website. There's a suggestion, and this is pretty much their suggestion with some minor modifications on it. And that's it's a massive document, I think. I've read it, and it's for me it's challenging to understand in some ways. I guess you can break down paragraph by paragraph. Do you have any feedback on it from any of you guys?
I do. There's a lot of stuff in there, but I kind of wonder if it's really hitting on the commercial hard enough. And I know our ordinance wasn't great enough to take care of issues like with the Chevron. I'm going to use the Chevron as an example, because when I moved here almost 6 years ago, there was half the lighting that there is now with the Chevron. When they added on that other canopy over the other pumps and added more lighting, they didn't upgrade to anything to be non-deflective. So they increased their lighting and didn't do anything that would enhance the night sky. The way this ordinance is written up, if they were to add more on to their business, they would not have to upgrade the lighting that's already there, only what they add on to, if I understand the way this is written right now. And I feel that if a commercial building is going to add on and do upgrades, it should be for their whole lighting system. The other problem I have with that is, being a commercial business, I understand that they have to have lights on to show that they're in business and that they're open, etc. But at nighttime, when they close down, the big sign doesn't have to be on. They've got that big sign still burning. They've got every single light outside still burning. They don't shut anything down, even to like let's say if they were to shut down the canopies to half the lighting, or maybe even 2/3 of the lighting, just to reduce that lighting but still have the safety that they need for that area. It would reduce that pollution at night if they had a little bit stiffer laws with this outdoor lighting for the commercial. I don't think it's really that transparent on here for commercial. It's residential quite a bit, and then it says parking lots, but it's very vague on the commercial end. And I think 10 years is too long. I think, especially in commercial, maybe residential, 10 years would be okay. But I think for commercial, it needs to be less.
What's the 10 years you're talking about? I see
The
here
reference
that
to,
by 2025.
it references from this code, it gives them 10 years to become compliant
Okay.
with the code. Through all 45 sections, and there's a lot of repeat in here,
That's what I
certain
thought as well.
specific parts of the code. But I think with commercial, even if it's 4-year or 5-year, I think it needs to be less. 10 years, a lot can happen in 10 years. And when we've got the only business in town setting the precedents, other businesses come in, they see the lighting that goes on that chevron. I don't know if there's some rebates or something that we can do to get them on board. And I know that there's a lot of other things out there that help residential owners, but I'm not sure about the commercial end, if there's anything out there that would help them transition that or
Yeah.
something, but.
Right now, on page 27, section C, the outdoor advertising, would that pertain to that sign?
It does, and it goes through a couple different areas, but I mean, that's about the lighting being above. I think, let's see, which part?
Part C.
Okay, so like number,
On page 27, section C.
section C, all three of them?
Yeah, outdoor
Want me
advertising.
to just read them?
Mhm.
Okay, it says number 1, lighting fixtures used to illuminate an outdoor advertising sign shall be mounted on the top of the sign structure. Of course, that one's in the middle, it's in the sign. All such fixtures shall comply with the shielding requirements of subsection B. One bottom mounted outdoor advertising sign lighting shall not be used. Outdoor advertising sign of the type constructed of translucent materials and wholly illuminated for within do not require shielding. Dark backgrounds with light lettering or symbols are preferred to maximize detrimental effects unless conforming to the above. Dark background reference, total lamp wattage per property shall be less than 31 watts. Compliance limit, existing outdoor advertising structure shall be brought into conformance with this ordinance when it becomes necessary to make major repairs, new permit to the signage, or within 10 years from date of this provision. So right there, it gives them 10 years unless they change their sign, but,
Or other lighting.
or the lighting.
Yeah.
Did I miss it, or is there a height requirement?
There is, throughout all 45 pages, there's different sections with height
Well,
requirement. Commercial, I think, was 35 feet. if I
Well, here's
read
the
it
deal,
right.
a lot of towns, communities, I know the town that I used to work in, Redmond, Washington, they came out with, they call it Bellevue, Washington, which is a pretty good big city, but they were tired of all these really tall signs on poles. So they made a requirement, so if you've got a McDonald's or you've got a Jack in the Box, your sign is on a pedestal on the ground, period. It's not way up in the air.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of, California has that same thing.
Yeah, and I think it's a wonderful idea. If they want to advertise that, yeah, Chevron's coming up, you know, you need to get gas, and put a billboard up and light it. They don't need to have a sign, I don't know how tall that sign is, but what I'm concerned about is.
Probably within limit, it's probably within limit.
Sure, but what I'm saying is if, unless we change it, then whoever comes in here can put a sign at the same height.
In other words, you'd have tall signs out on Main Street.
Everywhere, yeah.
Scenic byway.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's a lot of duplicate of different things.
And I think the lower signs look a lot better.
I think we need to table this until we can go over a little bit more and
Let's do that.
and talk about it with planning commission again and.
Maybe like a
and kinda,
work meeting.
you know, work meeting on it.
Can we, mark it up based on some of our suggestions of, and then we can give it back to them saying, here's a couple of things we're thinking of, we'd
Yeah.
like to consider.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'm sure they'll look at it and call.
Yeah, there's a lot of pages there, there's a lot to interpret, so.
Yeah, well, let's all, take our, paper form home and we'll, as we read through and mark up some of those, do some markups and we'll, share these with the planning commission. And, so, I move that we table this item for this meeting and to a future meeting.
Second?
Vote.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And, item 2 is, approval of recommendation from the planning commission on town code 10.28.100 parking requirements of private recreational vehicles in residential zones. And it has a new ordinance number. And, this was some minor modifications, I think. They're shown in red X'd out, is really the changes. Is there any discussion on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be devil's advocate today, so.
Yeah, it's fine.
The couple of things that I thought about as I read through this, it's very short, it's pretty simple, but, my problem is if somebody has a property that's up against the hill or off the cliff, they don't have a backyard. So they can't even have an RV to this code because they don't have a spot beside the house or behind the house to put an RV. So for them to put an RV in the front yard, according to this code, they wouldn't even be able to put an RV cover up and off the side in front if they had a big enough property. And some of these properties are over an acre. Some are an acre and a half, or an acre. So we have several properties in town where people wouldn't even be able to have an RV in their yard, according to this code. The other problem I think we have is some people have their garage in front of their house, or a carport. And if they've got their RV parked in their carport, I don't think they should be harassed if it's in a carport, even if it's not, doesn't have a back wall or a garage door on the front. I don't see a problem with that because that's part of their yard, and they have their driveway to that front. If no one's living in it and it's in good repair, I don't see that that's an issue. You know, I can see an issue if somebody's got something parked up on the ditch and up off the side of the street and been sitting there forever. But when they got something they use and they're trying to keep it under cover, even though the garage is on the front of the house, that's their cover for that unit. And this would also, you could fight that. I mean, this ordinance could mess that up.
So how would you word some of this? What would be part of your suggestion then to, just to include that it's okay in the front yard, or just, you know, I mean,
Well,
what's the purpose of this? In other words, we're amending this for what reason?
People staying in for 120 days.
So really, this is a rewrite mostly because of the stay. We're saying that they can only stay 30 days instead of 120. Don't have a problem with that. And requiring a permit for that stay as well. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and I don't mind that. I just have a problem with telling people where they can park their equipment. I mean, we don't live in Sun River. If we wanted to live in Sun River and have ordinances where all the houses are cookie cutter and everybody's in the same type of home and you can't park anything around it and they've got tons of ordinances, that's fine.
Is there just one or two words in there that you feel like that if we scratched it out, you would be happy with it?
I think we need to get rid of, let me go back at it for a minute, give me just a second.
So you have a problem with rear yard or side yard?
I do, I have a problem with the front, because, like I said, there's several homes and properties here where people aren't gonna have a side yard or backyard. And so if they've got their RV in the front yard, I don't
just
think
don't have a problem with
I
it.
don't think the location thing should be a problem. If a person has, if they're trying to use that and they're spilling sewer on the ground, I mean, that's gonna affect their neighbor, it's gonna affect everybody around them. But if they've got an RV that they've got parked or it's been approved for, parking off of, part of the acreage or something, I just don't have a problem with that. I think we're getting a little
Okay.
more picky about where somebody parks their RV versus
Is your,
living in a bigger town. It's just, we're getting kind of ridiculous on it, I think.
is it possible to make a motion with those changes, or would you prefer to table this and then let's re-edit it and send it back to planning? What do you think? is the
I'd like
best
to
course of
table it
action?
and re-edit it, because I don't want to vote to pass this the way it says.
All right. That's an easy night. I'll take a motion on that.
I make a motion, we table item ordinance number 0-2019-14, town code on parking requirements for private rec vehicles, until we can take a look at it and speak with the planning commission and make changes.
Second.
Vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And,
Mayor, just one clarification.
Yeah.
So are you saying now in that motion that you are going to take it back to planning commission? Because you don't need to take it back to planning commission, you can discuss it with them, but, and,
Make the changes.
and make the changes. But from that motion, it sounds like you're going to run it through planning commission again, formally through.
Which
the
would
process.
require another,
Right,
hearing as well.
right.
I question whether or not a hearing is not a bad idea either in this case. It depends on how much we're changing it, because, it could be if what we change it to, could mean that the hearing's a whole different hearing because of, saying that, yeah, you can park in the front yard, and, that.
I'm just telling you that you're not required to do it, but from that motion, it sounds like the first one, you're just going to huddle with them. The second one, you're actually gonna take it back through. So I just wanted to clarify if you're gonna take both back through the
Who made that
process, or
motion?
you?
And which is your intent? Do you wanna take it back to planning? Do you want to discuss it in our next meeting and decide what to do? Which could be, take it back to planning.
I think we should take it back to planning, and, or just have, like, when we do the work meeting on the first one, include that in the work meeting.
Okay. And we take a look at it and then decide what to do from there in our next town council meeting. Can you, maybe edit that motion for us? That we're going
I
to.
think you need to include the planning people with that, during that meeting, that work meeting, so they know exactly what's going on.
Okay, I recommend that we table ordinance number 0-2019-14 for a work meeting, so we can discuss with planning commission on what changes we feel need to be made.
So you're making a motion to amend your earlier motion,
Yes.
Yes.
is that right?
Yes.
And then whoever seconded it?
I did.
Okay, then,
Second, for Denny.
Second.
All right, and vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. My hats off to Mike and all of you for your comments, because it's, last thing you want to do is, these things have consequences when we pass some of these things, and I think that having them well thought out is, really important. Thanks for, your feedback on that, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And, item 3, approval of consent calendar for, September and first quarter of fiscal year 2020.
I just have to say, I love the way Ben does the color coordinating now, because it's so much easier to see things.
Any comments or questions on the consent calendar?
I'm good.
Paul, any?
No.
I make a motion, we approve consent calendar for September and first quarter of fiscal year 2020.
Second.
Vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks, Ben, for a great job.
I read the minutes.
And, minutes. Our minutes are always, perfect. This is your work, handiwork there, Michelle?
Probably.
Most likely. Now that you have an assistant, I have to ask him.
He doesn't do minutes, it's Denise.
He doesn't sit very much, so.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. So I'll make a motion
Okay,
that we approve the minutes for 9/18/2019.
okay.
I second.
And vote.
Aye.
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 Abstain?
Aye.
I guess you were up, weren't you?
I was.
All right, and, Bench Committee, Tish?
So Halloween's coming up, we're doing our annual trunk or treat, starting at 7 o'clock. So everybody grab some candy and put it in your trunk, come on down, pass it out. We'll be doing a Halloween costume in conjunction with that, with different age groups. And, we've got some prizes for the kids if they have the best costume. So, hope to see everybody there.
It was a huge turnout last year, so if you happen to miss it this year, it was a lot of fun, there's lots of kids.
And I hear there's like gonna be like a face-off between a couple of people with their trunks.
Yeah, there's a little, trunk contest going on, I think. I
Yeah.
asked,
Yep.
Margie to submit drawings ahead of time.
It's secret.
Because we have to approve those drawings ahead of time. She didn't fall for it though.
And I found a cool costume,
You need a building permit for it?
Yeah, I don't know.
maybe a lighting permit.
Yeah, so a few of us get a little carried away on this, I think. And, Planning Commission, do you have any comments from Planning Commission?
I'm good. I commented enough, so I'm good.
And, Fire Department?
Burn season's still going, but be aware we haven't had any water in I think 100 days, over 100 days, so be real careful. Everything's really, really dry. We're having abnormal temperatures, and we could see fires into the end of October is what they're saying. We still can be getting fires then, so that's about it. Also, I have been going out to the hydrants a lot lately, and I've been noticing that some of them are been real loose, so when I open them up, they start spraying out. So if you guys are seeing people around the hydrants or anything like that, make sure, I mean, if you're seeing more than 3 of the threads, then more than likely that thing's not tightened down very good. So just be aware. But, I don't really have anything else.
All right,
About
thanks.
the valves,
Hey,
loose,
Chief.
on the caps on the side.
Caps.
Okay.
Those caps, they keep the water in as soon as you open
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
they'll spray out.
Hey, Chief, if somebody wanted your assistance with the fire department, what do you require, like donations or anything? If
On
somebody wants, help
burn?
with burning?
So I've got probably, I mean, we've been out every single weekend the last 3 or 4 weekends, so. We got a lot of people who have piles. I don't know if you noticed, we got piles over on Apple Valley Drive. We have.
I have piles too.
You have piles.
I'm willing to donate some money if
Yeah.
I can get some help on
We can,
a burn, because I've gotten too close to the hill.
We can burn as long as they're in a pile and they're not a huge pile overhead or anything like that, then we will come and help and set an engine there just so it's safe.
I'll talk to you after
Yeah.
the meeting
just
then.
Call me, email me, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
All right, code enforcement. Rich, you have anything you want to share?
Yeah, just a couple of things. People are starting to have a little more confidence in the code. I've had a number of phone calls, some of them on supplies, They've also, have read the code, and the more eyes on the code, the better informed I am. I can double check that. And, it goes a long ways, and if you follow the code, even though it needs improving, it's still a pretty good code as far as you can go with. You can work with it. So people are seeing the results. We had, big results today on a code issue that, people were extremely, I got a number of calls on it. So that goes a long ways. The other thing, I did see a mirage. It was going down the road in our area, and I couldn't believe it, but it was a water truck. I've never seen a water truck in our area since I've been here, but actually it was filling off the hydrant and it was watering our road. My God. So I do appreciate that. We couldn't figure out what it was to start with when we drove down the road, but it was actually water because I seen a little puddle.
Well, I see Junior smiling, so thank you, Junior.
Thank you, Junior, very nice.
Thank you, Junior.
I'll send more donations. Oh, I wasn't supposed to.
Definitely not perfect.
All right.
We thought it rained.
In a line.
In a line.
Next one is mosquito abatement. Do you have anything at all? Or it's all
Nothing, no
mosquito
meeting.
season's over? And anybody at the council have anything? And I think I'll just take just a brief moment. One thing I was just thinking of is the Main Street realignment. We did have some engineering out, surveyors out on the Main Street realignment, and you'll notice the stakes out there now where they staked out that realignment. So the county's in charge of doing that right now. We got grant to pay for that. Engineering part of it, so it's nice to see that that's moving forward as well. So if you see stakes along Main Street, that's where the new road would intersect on the highway as we move forward with that. Bathrooms are creeping along. It's a challenge with the compaction, and but we're pushing forward with that. Anyway, that's all I have. Would like to open it up for public comments, though. Anybody have something they want to share? Rich Cobb.
Yeah, Rich Cobb, 1193 East Big Canyon. Going back to the parking of the pulling fifth wheels, trailers, whatever, maybe under extraordinary circumstance, take it case by case. So most of the time it's on the side and in the back, preferably the back. And if you got a situation where you just cannot, you don't have a backyard or a side yard, that maybe you come to the town and say, look, I've got a fifth wheel here, I just have no place to put it. I might have, the only spot is the front. What do you think?
That's part of the problem we have with other ordinances, because then someone says, well, he's parking his equipment up front, the ordinance says it can't be in front. So that's part of the problem we have with other things, when people gripe about ordinances and so-and-so is doing this. And it's the same thing if someone comes into town and sees that his RV's parked up front, but then the ordinance says you can't, then we need to have the ordinance fit what everybody can do, not just take it person by person, because then we're in with the attorney and lawsuits because we allowed one person to do it and not another person.
Well, people come in should know the code. So
We should, but
the code is the code.
I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, let's say a person has a more neighborhood-like place, like I'd say Gooseberry, because most of the houses in Gooseberry are closer to the road, and there's lots in the back. Most of them, maybe not all. It's not that way with mine. My house is way in the back, but I could just see somebody building a really big, nice house and parking an RV right in front of it. I just like, I don't know. I have a little bit of a problem with that.
One more comment, and it does have, it makes a big difference if you're in a small subdivision like Cedar Point, or if you're in Gooseberry, or you have acre lots and stuff like that. Half acre, you plop that thing right in front, it's just, I don't think that's fair to the neighbors myself, but the ordinance, it's gotta be tweaked. So we just gotta figure out what's gonna be good for everybody.
Hey, Richard?
I actually agree with Mike on it. I think that, number one, we can't do a case by case, because we will have a lot more people calling up and dragging Sean into a big old mess of nothing. I think that really needs to be more of a subdivision ordinance, not a town-wide deal. Like Mike said, we want to live in Entrada or something like that over there, or wherever. We would have bought there. We didn't buy there. We don't want that kind of thing, and we're just getting way out of control with what we're doing here. We need to have a little bit more.
Well, I'd like to see us get away from HOA kind of rules
That's my
in the
point.
town, and, you know, so, thanks for your comments. Rich Osowski.
That seems fine and dandy, but we don't wanna live in a trolley, but then we don't wanna live in a dumpy area either. We wanna have a little organization, it's not an HOA, there is no HOAs here. The thing of it is, let's park our RV and our boat and our ATVs. It's not just strictly RVs. We have a lot of other equipment out here that's grouped into that bunch. So if you give one a call, then where do they park all the other vehicles they have? And people have multiple vehicles. I have 5, but I park them in the garage or out of the way. Now we got vehicles out in front, we got ATVs, we got boats, we got trailers, we got fifth wheelers. So you gotta kinda set a standard. And I feel bad for people that can't park their RVs and stuff in the back. And sometimes it's difficult to get into the back, and sometimes you don't have a road. But some of these people bought that property and actually looked at it before they bought it, and they should have realized that this is not acceptable to their lifestyle. So I feel sorry for them, but to the point, I don't wanna have all their vehicles out in front. As a code enforcer, I gotta go along and check vehicles that, you know, and actually that's private property. You can't do anything according to the sheriff. They can park whatever they want out in front as far as the vehicle, but you still gotta find that thin line where you don't want everything out in front. So let's not just discuss RVs, let's discuss everything that goes along with RVs.
Okay, thanks for your comment. Margie?
Well, on the trailer thing, I believe in Entrada you can't have any RVs anyways, because that's what, what's his name, Hank Isaacson said about across the highway. But anyway, my public comment is not about that. Is there any way the town could, you know, like get the candidates all together? Because on this last flyer that came out by one of the candidates, I kind of took offense to a few things on it, and you can't really talk to this person, and it would be nice if you could, you know, be in a public forum and ask him what he means by a couple of things on the flyer. And growing up in the desert, I've always been a water conservation person, and I took really offense to that part about being water. The white persons are not water conservation people. And I've gone to that darn old water meetings for years, and my whole thing was, you can't drink the paper that it's on, and I took offense to that, and I'm really upset about it. That's my comment.
All right.
I'm sticking to it.
And I'm sticking to it.
Margaret, thank you for your comments, but we're not able to force anybody to show up at a meet and greet kind of a thing, or a question answer, so. At this point, looks like it's not gonna happen, so. Tish?
Tish Elizabeth, 1386 North Mount Zion Drive. So I wrote this down so I'd be concise and precise with my words, so that no one could misconstrue them. There's 2 rumors that are going around town on 2 items that pertain to me personally. First, that Marty and I pay either reduced taxes or no property taxes at all. This is false. I have the last 3 years' tax statement of our home and our property. I'm going to give them to Ben for safekeeping, making them available to whoever wishes to see them and verify that we do indeed pay property taxes.
For those who can't or won't come to the town office, in 2017, we paid $6,980.10. This was a proportion to the percentage of the completed home that we were in the process of building. In 2018, we paid $9,228.43. 2019, we got a break. The payment for next month will be $9,017.24. Second, there's a rumor going around that I own hundreds, if not 1,000 acres of land in Apple Valley, which I have hidden under the disguise of an LLC.
Is it Apple Dumpling Teleportation?
This land is said to be for development by me or my family, and that by Marty being mayor, we will somehow benefit financially. This is false. I do not, nor has Marty and I ever owned land in Apple Valley that I have not resided on or used as pasture adjacent to my family home. We currently own 1 acre, which is used for a driveway and an entrance into our home, which encumbers 7.44 acres. I am leaving a blank check for $25,000. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Giving it to Ben so that if anyone wants to check to see if I own any land parcel or parcels in Apple Valley or adjacent to Apple Valley, I will give it to you. I will even help you do the search. I have printed out from the utah.gov website every name I have ever gone by, as well as Marty. And I will also leave this with Ben. These pages list every company, LLC, and corporation that I or Marty have ever been a principal or registered agent for. Match this list with any parcel owner in Apple Valley except for our home, and you win $25,000. And when you can't connect me or my husband to any land, then stop the false rumors. And if you dismiss this with something like, oh, she hid it under her dad or her brothers or sisters or siblings' names, then you better prove that too. There you go, Ben, $25,000.
You can't cash it now, Ben.
Okay, any other public comments? Any other public comments? Okay.
Make a motion, we close public comment?
Second.
Yeah, we don't need to vote on it, we'll just close public comments. How about the last one, now we can
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that.
vote?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Wait, one more.
We have one more meeting real quick. So we have, Town Council Water District meeting, so I call this meeting to order. This is, the Water Oversight meeting, Wednesday, October 16th, 2019. And, time's okay. And we've already done pledge, so let's do a roll call for
Mike McLaughlin here.
Debbie Cox here?
Marty Elizabeth here.
Paul Edwardson here.
Danny Bassett.
And the item we have on our agenda is approval of USDA RD grant for spring rehabilitation approved by the Big Plains Water Board. This is I guess there's a seismic activity on our spring out there that did some damage, and USDA is approving a grant to help us mitigate that damage. And so
Is it all grant?
it's all grant.
Do we know how much it is?
750,000, I think it was, wasn't it? Does that sound right, do you remember, Danny? They didn't give us any paperwork on it.
It is 100% grant then.
100% grant, yeah. And this is actually money, if we do the pipeline, it was money we would have had to borrow to upgrade some of this inland, so it's kind of a
win-win.
Yeah, a win-win for us, that's really what it is, so.
Okay.
Anyway, make a motion that we approve their ability to go ahead and get this grant for the rehabilitation of that Canyon Springs.
I make a motion that we approve USDA RD grant for the spring rehabilitation that was approved on 10-3 by the Big Plains Water Board.
Second.
Vote?
Aye.
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 Right.
And, item B is, we did in our last meeting actually, so.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
vote?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.